Yep.
I appreciate it. You're taking some time out of your schedule as we are out of ours. Just to get together and have a discussion about, well, what's your experience with, the clinic here? What's the experience with the care that you've received? Maybe start. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do for a living?
I'm Becky Harbarth. I'm from Gaylord. My husband and I own Sibley Electric. We're an electrical contractor.
How many years in business?
Since 2003.
So quite a few years. You're going on 18 years.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Correct. It's been a long time.
Lots of energy and, all private business owners, right? We are maybe a different breed than many because you have the headaches and you have the rewards, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. You pretty much have to eat, sleep, breathe your business.
No, that's true. So that's a little bit about who you are, background and so on. What brought you into the clinic, initially?
My husband and I have 3 kids. Our middle daughter was in school and they were doing scoliosis checks. And we got a letter from school saying they were kind of wondering if Mercedes should be checked more thoroughly. So we didn't know if...
So the initial screen indicated that a further investigation was warranted.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And to be honest, we didn't know if we wanted to go to a medical doctor right away. So we started talking with some of our friends, and one of our friends referred us to you. And he said...
And you've been sorry ever since.
It has been a great experience, let me tell you. We have gone to other chiropractors, and so our friend had said, no, Dr. Kramer is totally different. And to be honest, I thought, aren't they all the same? But okay, fine, kind of a thing. And one thing that really lured us in was a fact of the x-rays. He explained how different the x-rays were, and they're not like the normal x-rays even that an MD does or that your typical chiropractor does. And
load bearing, gravitational in a standing position, right, full spine, so we see everything.
Right. And he explained that you color code it. And I thought, what? And he said, Becky, you just go to him, make an appointment for your daughter, and you'll find out yourself. Okay, fine. So, yeah, we made an appointment, and you got the x-rays for Mercedes, and it was shocking. After the x-rays were done, we made the appointment to review them.
Right.
And I'll never forget that first time seeing him up there. I thought, oh my God, what is all that? I mean, there were blue, green, red degrees. It really was crazy.
I have been accused of being thorough a time or two. Yes.
Well, and the thing is, that's different with you too, is that you're able to rationalize every single point that's on the x-ray.
Well, and this is the attention to human biomechanics. Right, really, truly, it's not my design; it's his, right? And as a practitioner, the more I actually get into clinic and the longer I do this, the more amazed I am on a daily basis, actually, of how the human body actually functions, how it's designed to, and quite frankly, relating the structure of humanity, the way that the curves are, and everything else, how that relates to the functionality of the person, right?
Right.
And so now you're talking about symptomatology, you're talking about not only pain. Pain is one thing, yes, of course. Pain is a great motivator for people, because it's not comfortable. But there are many other levels, right? And as we'll, I'm sure, get into,
right.
That was the initial thing coming in, with Mercedes, having her kind of structurally evaluated. Tell me more about that.
And so once we saw the changes that you were able to do with her, I remember I commented to you that I was in a car accident, shortly out of high school.
Right.
And you had asked, well, had you ever gotten checked? And I said, well, when I took the ambulance to the hospital, stay overnight, and yep, you're good, nothing's broken, see ya. And I joked with you that no, my back never hurts unless somebody touches it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
well, that was my famous last word.
Yeah, right.
So after that, then, well, I guess backing up through Mercedes, we ended up, all 5 of us, all 3 of our kids, me and John, yes, came to see you, and so after you took X-rays of me, you saw how bad of shape.
And you saw, right?
Right.
And you saw. Yeah,
really
where the problem was.
How bad it was,
Right.
yes. And then it almost came to be such a thing that you didn't realize how bad your back was hurting until it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds weird, but it's just, you get used to the pain every day to where you might not notice it, but then once it's not there,
it's not so bad.
Oh,
yeah, wow. I can live without these symptoms, whether it's pain, maybe it's other things organically, organ-wise,
Right.
It's true.
Right. So that's pretty crazy, and considering the accident was over 20 years ago, I mean, I had just gotten used to how I feel and
slow progression will build up. Many times, Becky, I use the analogy in clinic for patients exactly on this point, where if you have, I don't know, relatives, nieces or nephews or something, right, and you don't see them on a regular basis, and so you see them again at whatever, Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, summer, they up at the cabin or whatever, and all of a sudden you see them again for a while, and it's like, holy smokes, what did you do, like grow 2 feet, like really they get big and so on. But for the parents of those kids, they don't notice that. And in fact, I can say this, right, having 8 kids, right, with Marion. And so my point is this, when they say, Dad, I think I need new shoes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just bought you a pair of new shoes. Come here, let me check. And sure enough, they need new shoes, right? But we don't notice it on a day-to-day basis so much as when there's an absence, except, as you pointed out, when it's removed, right, then it's amazing because, whoa, I was just accustomed to having to deal with that, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's very true, physiologically that is a common experience, right? And so it takes the removal of the symptom to remember, wow, I can't even believe that I had to use a stool because I couldn't lift my shoulder up all the way, or whatever.
Right. Well, and then on that note, John had asked me, oh gosh, this is probably months after I started going here. He asked me, well, did you tell Dr. Kramer about your allergies? And my initial thing to him was, what does Dr. Kramer have to do with allergies? And he works on my back. Why does he care about my allergies?
Yeah.
He said, Becca, I think you should tell him. So of course, I brought that up, and then you brought up how, yes, allergies can affect, your back, or your back can, however, your back
it's influenced by subluxation, right? It's the structure. Again, structure is related to the function, right? Even if it's organs.
Well, and it was odd because, so after my first daughter, I had her naturally, and my allergies went away. And I thought, oh, wasn't that odd? And then once I was pregnant with my second and third, they ended up coming back. And so my medical doctor, I brought that up to her, and it was great when I didn't have it anymore, because I've had these seasonal allergies, if you will, I mean, ever since I was little. And I brought it up to my medical doctor, and she said, oh yeah, that's just hormone based, so your hormones can affect your allergies and that sort of thing. And so honestly, I just figured that must be it, right? So then I brought it up to you, and you said, yep, your back has something to do with it, and the changes, whatever. And so John had said, well, Beck, now that you've been going so many months, maybe you should try going without your allergy pill. And I would just take like an over-the-counter pill, once a day, no prescription, but it would...
Do you remember what you were taking?
Oh, was it Claritin? Is Claritin the thing on the commercial where... it's like foggy, and then they say, oh, with Claritin it gets clear.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
In any case, sorry.
And it was just, one a day, and it didn't take away all of my symptoms, but it made it tolerable, but it was to the point where I still couldn't mow lawn. I mean, on any given summer, fall, I would, go from work to my car. I would be outside as minimal as possible because it just aggravated it so much. And
that's allergies like that are really painful. I mean, your head swells basically.
Oh, it's miserable.
The nose and the eyes and itchy, and even the pressure in the ears and whatever. Yeah.
Right, and so by me taking that just one a day, it helped. And so John had said, well, now that you've been going to Dr. Kramer for several months, he said maybe you should try not taking your pill. And I said, John, there's no way.
You're
because because I know that if I don't take it, it takes like 2 or 3 days to get back to where everything kind of calms back down. And I said, I don't know if it's worth it. And he said, Becky, I think you should. Okay, so I know it wasn't right away, but I mean, it was like the next day or 2 days later, I just thought, okay, if I don't try it, I mean, why do I want to keep taking these pills if I don't have to? And I know you had mentioned that too, that I think you might notice a change, just casually said that. And so, once I stopped, I mean, I haven't taken another allergy pill since. And then it was so exciting. I could mow lawn, and
which you quite enjoy doing, right?
I do. To the point where the kids had just been used to mowing lawn all the time, and I would say, no, leave the lawn for me, and that was really abnormal because I would have a heyday mowing my lawn. I mean, it's just a little things like that that it was super exciting to be able to do again, and be able to throw the ball with. Or throw the football with Lincoln, and just being outside
without flaring up.
Right, right. So that was huge. That was
and that's,
really huge.
I hear this many times from more senior parents than where I'm at. But the time that we have with our kids, you cannot get it back, and so to enjoy it in such a way that you can do it, where. You can do something which is enjoyable for you and for your children, right? I mean, how do you replace that?
Right.
You can't,
right.
And so these are the limitations that I love seeing. I love hearing these stories from patients, I really do.
Well, right, and the kids would even comment, wow, Mom can be outside.
Yeah, like, shocker, newsflash.
Well, right, and then you realize again, oh, how many years did I do that? And did I miss out being outside and doing stuff like that?
Right. How about other things maybe in your experience here, just in general, kind of what have you experienced, other things that maybe come to mind?
Well, another thing that was, I would say in 2018-ish, something like that. I was picking up material for work, and I had lifted something that was too heavy that I probably shouldn't have lifted.
By yourself, if I recall.
There was another guy there, so he and I both had lifted this, and to be honest, I mean, I've been doing this for a few years already, but this particular time, I mean, these are like long, skinny, heavy anodes, okay, and that
for the business, of course.
Right. And that particular time, I don't remember if I twisted wrong, but it was like immediate, oh my goodness, oh no, what did I do? And I was able to drive home and whatever, but I mean, the pain was just unbearable. And I couldn't walk, I just remember, oh my God, how am I going to get through this, right? And I called you, and it was so bad I couldn't drive myself, so Mom had to bring me in, and you did your thing, and I knew from past experience with other friends that had gone here that they were close to surgery. Granted, not everybody is the same, but they would be close to surgery, and you were able to pull them through. So I thought, okay, he'll be able to pull me through, and ultimately you did, but the pain in between was just unbearable. And so I had gone to my medical doctor, and I talked to you about it, and I had gone to my medical doctor, and I had told her that, you know, I was coming here, but I couldn't handle the pain. And my medical doctor and I've been with her ever since I was like 17. So she's seen me through all my kids. I mean, she knows how I am, kind of a thing. And
there's a very good relationship built up there.
Right. And so by going in, I told her, I said, I need some pain meds. Dr. Kramer can fix me up, but I need something, you know, and there too, I hated asking for that, but truly I couldn't handle it.
I get it.
And so I had an MRI, and she told me, she said, Becky, you need surgery. I mean, the MRI is to the extent where you need it. And I said, I don't want surgery. Dr. Kramer will take care of it. She said, Becky, this might be more than, you know, what a chiropractor can handle, right? So I don't remember what pain med she gave me, but she gave me something, and she made me make an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon, you know, to work on my back, and so good, bad, or otherwise, to appease her, I scheduled it for like 3 months out, knowing that within that time I won't need it, right? So
pretty serious faith on your part, I might add.
You know, so I did make the appointment, and I actually got a call from the surgeon saying, I looked at your MRI, why are you 3 months out? Right. And they said, I can make an appointment for you next week. You need to be seen.
Right.
And I said too, I know, I'm in a lot of pain, but I said, Dr. Kramer will be able to pull me through. And they said the same thing. This is
you're beyond
in a matter,
chiropractic.
Right. And I should back up though too, that I only needed half of whatever pain med she gave me. And I remember I called you that next morning after I took half of it, and I said, the pain is like gone, but is it supposed to be all gone? Then I was almost worried to the other extent, and I think I was coming here then maybe 3 times a week, because I mean it was that bad, and it had to be that consistent, and that sort of thing. And long story short, I think it was after 2 weeks, you know, of getting to a point where, you know, I was definitely getting better, I canceled the surgery after 2 weeks.
Yeah. So what about since then? Has it returned yet?
No. I mean, it.
So wait a minute. You went through this whole process where you could barely move, recommended surgery definitively, and yet you didn't get surgery, and here you are.
Correct. And so what I've ultimately found, well, then in between that time, so okay, you got me all better, and I'm feeling great, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to come back. Right?
It's a common, you know.
Right, because truly I was feeling really good, and I thought, I must only have to come back when I need it, right? So to be honest, I don't remember if it was a year. That was maybe like sporadic, you know, like, oh yeah, I haven't been in Dr. Kramer, I should probably go.
I'm feeling kind of stiff and sore.
Right.
My body's talking to me again.
Right. And so, yes, it was very sporadic. And then I noticed it was summer of 2019 that I would be mowing the lawn and my eyes would itch, my ears, you know, would start itching. And I'm like, oh no, you know, so then, I called you, and I noticed too, I went to one of Lincoln's football games. It was the beginning of October, and I just started coughing, and they said, "Oh, are you sick?" Yeah, I must be, and then I noticed it was like postnasal drip or something. Yeah, I mean it was starting to get pretty bad, but then I noticed that there's a correlation when I didn't come here and it would get better or worse. So if there was a longer period of time that I didn't come here, the worse it was, the more I would cough. But then once I'd come back, it would get better.
Start to clear up again.
Right. So now, I'm coming once a week.
So did I finally earn your trust, Becky?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So, and it is true because, you had said even earlier as we were talking, you'd had those, sinus and, kind of allergy type symptoms, even as a young girl, right? And coming through life and so on. I mean, how long has it been taking your structure, again, structure affects function, how long did the structure build up to get to be to the point where it is? And now we're working with it to more or less, and you're relatively young, and so to undo all of that, if we're able to, right, in a structural fashion, and really it takes time. And I don't know about you, but I don't have control of speeding up or slowing down time. That's God's thing, and whatever, and that's just the way it is. We work with physiology, we work with human biomechanics to be able to work the best we can with the patient's symptomatology and with what they have going on to try to improve their function through the structural stuff.
Right.
And isn't it amazing how it works?
Well, and I remember my friends and also you telling me and my family that, the more we come, the better we'll feel. And when we don't, we'll ultimately realize, oh, yeah, I do need to get back. And I thought, well, how can you realize when you need to? And it is.
Your body
it's true.
Talks to you.
It's true. And then you start being more in tune to what hurts and why and that sort of thing. And yeah, so I mean, we've been coming here since 2013. And it's now 2021.
It's 8 years already. Give me a break. Wow.
So it's nice. I mean, it's helped me a lot, and it's helped my family a lot. So.
We've talked about a lot of flowers and roses and beautiful things. How about challenges? Like, be honest. I mean, what are some of the challenges going through structural, corrective care?
The first thing was coming 3 days a week. I mean,
it's a commitment.
It's a lot of time. I mean, it's a lot of time from work. At least I only have drive time of 15 minutes, but at one point we were having all 5 of us here.
And to coordinate that schedule. Mom.
Right.
And wife and,
right. So,
master of the keys.
Right. So that was difficult, but there too, the kids all knew. They were starting to notice changes too. Oh, Mom, I haven't been to Dr. Kramer in a month. We need to make an appointment.
Isn't it curious that kids, they're very quick to notice that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
and especially,
I find that to be the case,
right, and especially with Lincoln in football, after certain games, oh, Mom, I got hit, so I need to call Dr. Kramer on Monday and, make an appointment. And so, so I guess the biggest challenge would be honestly probably the time commitment.
At least initially, but then it does let up once we get things again. 3 phases of care. We got to break things free, so to speak, or get them moving. The second stage is to begin the process and continue the process of correcting the position of the bones as best we humanly can. And then the third phase is really stabilization. Right? And that's the maintenance, that's to maintain the progress that we've gained. And when that's our ultimate goal, is to get people as quickly and efficiently as we can into maintaining the stability of it so that they don't revert back to where they were, And that's really...
and there too, once you brought up the maintenance, then it might only be 1 appointment a month or, whatever
that
you
patient
say.
needs. Yeah.
Right. And every patient is different. And I do know that once we came here, people had asked, well, does your insurance cover that?
Mm.
Or, aren't they so expensive? No, our insurance doesn't cover it. Yes, it is expensive. However, it's worth it.
It's offset of value.
Right.
And really, let's talk expense for a second. Because it is true, what we do is not free. Right, it's true. I mean, I don't know any business that that or clinic or hospital, right, that operates like that. In any case, the expense offset. Just take your allergies for example. What about Claritin? Right, the cost of Claritin, which is a smaller amount, but what about the cost of not being able to spend time outside with your son Lincoln? Right?
Oh, for
sure. What is the value in that compared to? What about the cost, let's say, and according to human biomechanics, if degeneration is let go, it advances over time. It's clear. There's no scientific debate about it. And so now it's a matter of, well, what would the road look like for this or that particular patient if they don't start addressing their disease process now as opposed to 10 years from now? You want to talk expense? Wow. Then you're talking. I mean, talk to some of my senior patients, for example, who are, quite frankly, doing anything and everything they can in the last 10 minutes of the game, so to speak, to avoid ending up in a nursing home or a long-term care facility or whatever it is, especially now, right, in this day and age with coronavirus and their family. It's difficult that they come and actually have that human contact with their own family. What's the cost of that long term, right?
Well, right.
So,
and people need to learn it's worth the investment in yourself.
Correct.
In your body. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health,
that's an issue.
What do you have?
Right.
And so that's why John and I have talked. We said, oh, if only we would have met Dr. Kramer earlier. But on the flip side,
we hear that often, by the way.
Well, right. At least I'm only in my 40s. And I'm meeting you now, and at least I was able to introduce my kids to it.
Right.
So they're learning as well, and they're also learning. Money shouldn't be an issue when you're talking about your health, and you want to better yourself and stay healthy.
Well, that's also a curious thing, because really by having your health, it allows you to live your life as you would like or as you deem, right? And if you don't have that, well, then you're limited de facto. You don't have a choice.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about some good things. We've talked about some challenges, which are real. You've got the financial challenge. You've got the time challenge. There are other challenges too. Even the discomfort, when you were flared up and we're trying to move the bone and take the pressure off the nerve. How enjoyable was that,
Right.
Becky?
Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
Not good.
But,
not good. But in end effect, within a short comparative time, you haven't needed surgery as was potentially anticipated, and you're doing really well, right?
Right.
So let me ask you this. Of course, we're doing this as just a summary of your experience here and everything else. What would you tell people who maybe they've heard about structural chiropractic here, they've heard about the clinic here, they've probably heard about it from different people. I know you've shared your story not only here now, but with many, many people outside. I can't even tell you how many people you've referred into the clinic to be evaluated above and beyond your own family and so on. I mean, countless referrals you've made. What would you tell those people who are, according to the classic German, Russian, Polish area that we're in, stubborn in nature, and they're like, well, I've already been to a chiropractor or what have you. What would you say to them?
I would say the biggest thing would be you have to understand that Dr. Kramer and his staff, they're structural chiropractor, and that I realized is totally different than I don't know if dare I say regular chiropractors.
Perhaps average.
And there's a huge difference, and I guess as I alluded to earlier, the biggest difference that I saw was the x-rays. You can't argue with the x-rays and what's pointed out as your problems. And I guess I would say it's definitely worth the investment. It's definitely worth giving Dr. Kramer a call and telling him your problems and see, what his take is, and if he can help you and that sort of thing. It's definitely worth it. And like I said earlier also, we've been here since 2013, and we have realized that when we don't come, our bodies are telling us you need to get back.
It makes a difference.
It's a huge difference.
It seems like I've turned you into a structural chiropractic junkie.
But that's okay.
Yeah. Your life is better for it.
Well, and I guess, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I've had several different things throughout throughout the years that have happened, and I hesitate thinking, oh my gosh, if I hadn't have known you, I would have had surgery.
Where would you be?
It would have been a totally different experience, and I still would be taking my allergy pills every day. So it's worth it.
Yeah, Becky, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure and truly an honor to serve both you and your family. It's great to see and hear these stories, and it's refreshing. Really, it is. I mean, this gives us the motivation to continue doing what we're doing, even though we're the oddballs, the weirdos or whatever. It's okay.
Right.
But for anybody who's out there, we're here to check that. And if truly, for those of you potentially watching who have not been structurally evaluated and checked, why wait? Really, truly, why wait? Anyway, thanks for your time.
I agree.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.